started.
Hyperbolic. Okay, hyperbolic. E4, let's see. The Sicilian and the Lechens. Yeah, how about we play a traditional E5 opening? See what he goes for, is Spanish or the Italian? The Spanish, the Ruy Lopez. Okay, hyperbolic is from Mexico, right? Yeah. Let's hit the E pawn. Oh, he defends it. Okay, so this is a little bit different. A little bit different. This is the four knights, Spanish. And I don't really know anything about this. Normally when the four knights are played first, and the bishop is still on on b5, then you have the move knight to d4. That's the Rubinstein variation against the four knights Spanish, but it doesn't apply here because he went for the Spanish first and then he developed a knight. So if I let him push on, he might win this knight. If I take, he takes. Then I have to defend my knight, I guess. It's going to get some pressure here. He's got the bishop and the knight all piling up on c6 here. But it's defended. So we'll get one of these positions where my development is kind of constrained here. But I think you'll have to trade in order to try and make any progress, and then I will find squares for my pieces. The bishop can come to e7 and I can castle at least. And maybe I could just take his knight and take his bishop too. That's another way to eliminate some pieces, but I don't want to just trade recklessly here. Let's develop a little bit first. And I'm not in any hurry to kick his bishop from this diagonal to this diagonal. It's not clear which diagonal is more useful at this point, and the move b5 here is a weakness in the long run, a weakness on the queen side that white can attack. So if you don't need to play it, why bother? So I could maybe think about playing knight to e5 here. But if he just retreats his bishop to b3, then where do I go? In the Sicilian, I'd go from e5 to c4 there, but there's nothing to support the knight on c4, unfortunately. Okay, he brings his knight in. Maybe he wants to win my dark squared bishop, rather. If I take the pawn, oh yeah, his knight is not hanging. If I take the knight, his bishop is hanging. I can take here with check, I take back. Takes here. Do I have any tempo moves with my knight? I just take his bishop, he takes. And all the pieces have come off, but I'm left with the good bishop on this diagonal. Or he could take my bishop with check. Let's see, knight takes bishop check, queen takes, bishop takes bishop, or queen takes knight, either one, bishop takes bishop, queen takes, or bishop takes, queen takes, queen takes. All this doesn't seem to lead to very much, but I don't know what else there is to play here. Yeah, maybe knight to e5. I can bring the knight over to g6 here. Maybe it's useful on the king side. Okay, well, I thought a long time for that move, so he's thinking about the response here. Makes sense. He has choices. Check. He can take either bishop. He can take that one first because that's with check, and now he still has choices whether to take this bishop or to retreat. Yeah. So interesting. I can kick this knight with a move like c4. Yeah, actually, this is one of those funny bishop traps you see in the Ruy Lopez quite a bit. So c5 forces the knight to move, and c4 forces the bishop to move. It has to go back here, but then I can just take it. Even if I didn't have my bishop here, I had to move b5 to trap the bishop. So I think my opponent has walked into a trap here. Ah, he attacks the queen. Okay. Let's take that off. I want to play these moves with tempo. Now, if I attack his bishop, he can sack the exchange here and get a pawn for it. But still, it's an exchange. Should be good for me. Oh, he can take advantage of the pin. Oh, that was dumb. That was dumb. Okay, so I need to unpin. If I could unpin with the tempo, can the queen go anywhere to threaten anything? I can get the f-pawn. Queen here threatens the f-pawn. But after I take the f-pawn, he can take the e-pawn. Say queen d7, bishop retreats. Oh, even the bishop can even go somewhere and defend the pawn. Knight takes, queen takes. Horrible.
Server
Any other good move with the queen? And maybe I'll just put it over here on a useful open. Well, that was a very heads-up play by Hyperbolic there, finding that way to counter my little tactic, and a little bit too quickly played by me. I was a little overconfident there. So I can take the bishop off, but he just takes with the queen. Let's advance this. I'm going to try and claim that this is not a good bishop, so I'm not going to trade it. Yeah, he goes there. Not a bad idea. Let's defend the rook. Defend the knight. I want to play knight somewhere to chase that bishop away. Where can I play it? I unfortunately can't play it here. Okay, I'm going to have to move my queen again to unpin the knight, it looks like. He may be looking for ways to try and increase the pressure on this knight, but I don't see it. I mean, like, even if he doubles with the queen here, I think I can just unpin and move the knight because I have a knight protecting the e8 square, so I'm not going to get mated on the back rank. Yeah, that's interesting. What happens here? Knight takes, queen takes, knight takes, bishop takes. Oh my, it's complicated. Okay. Queen's somewhere to unpin the knight. Maybe here. Queen on the dark squares, though. His bishop can move. Maybe I go back here. But my knight is unprotected then. What did I do? I just moved it. I moved my queen without thinking. Oh, man. I mean, because I couldn't remember where I'd lifted it up from. That's the problem with not thinking. Not thinking before you move. Okay, I wasn't so worried about that. At least the knight can go back and defend the knight. I was just under the misconception I could move my queen, and then I realized he's got two attackers. I have to stay defending the knight. Okay, well, he's thinking again, which is good. This is the only thing I've got going for me, is my opponent is thinking. Okay, here's an idea for unpinning. I could play my pawn to d4 and my queen to d5, which is a nice open diagonal. He's got bishop to e4, though. It's just hard to find a good square for the queen. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I will retreat my queen all the way back to f8. Queen f8, and then the knight is free to move. We put his king there. Now that's interesting. So now I have a check. No, I don't have a check. I had a check until the king moved, and now I don't. The check wasn't any good because queen takes would defend the bishop anyway. I have this funny move, knight to g4. Knight g4, queen takes, knight to g5. The queen takes the knight and defends his bishop. Okay, never mind. Okay, so just queen to c6, stepping out of the pen, threatening, well, I can play this pawn forward with a check at some point. So what's the damage? I'm down a pawn. He's got 4 pawns to 3 over on this side of the board. I'm an isolated pawn, but his kingside pawns are kind of messed up. But he has a bishop pair. So overall, white is probably better, but I haven't completely lost yet. Okay, what next? Taking the bishop, he takes. Okay, I want to bring my knight forward, so let's take this way. See if I could defend the g5 square and put my queen on this diagonal at the same time, g4 square. Say if I got my queen to d4, I could play knight g4 and threaten to check the king here. But maybe I should just push this pawn forward, because now knight to f3 is with check. So he made all these pawn pushes, which really weakened the squares around his king. Yeah, that was the problem with that. He always has the bishop move once I move the pawn away. Okay, I guess I don't want to give up the b pawn, so I'll drop back here. Gives up the that gives up the d pawn. Queen takes d4, rook to d8. My knight is still defended, so his queen has to move. At least it activates all my pieces. And the queen could go here to hit my b pawn, here to take a look at the rook on e8. Could go back here just to oppose my queen, and here, keeping an eye on these squares around the king. Now knight to knight to g4 is possible here. And it's kind of interesting. Knight and queen are looking at the h2 square. Yeah, so now he's opposing my queen. So rook takes bishop. It's not working. Doesn't do anything. The queen is hanging. And if I move the queen, the knight is hanging, so I need to take.
Check.
Let's I'd like to kind of pile up on his bishop, but I realize I have a back rank problem. So maybe I should start by playing f3, but that opens this diagonal. f6. If I play g6, he can lock down with f6. So that leaves h6 as I move to play. Give my king a little bit of space here. Also, give the f6 square for the knight. Okay, let's see. Let's chase the bishop back. Yeah, now he grabs that pawn. Oh, very annoying.
Check.
Yeah. And the check here is guarded by my knight. So he's picked up a couple of pawns. Yeah, he's got 3 on 2 and 3 on 1 here. Interesting. Let's see if I can win a pawn back. The squares are guarded by the knight. He's moving kind of quickly now. I guess he noticed he was slow on time. Okay, so let's go here. This attacks the bishop and attacks the pawn, although he can move there and defend. Yeah, once again, taking advantage of various pins and pin knight. He seems pretty alert to all these pins and stuff. So at least my pieces are active. He's got a check here. And I can't come in this way. Let's bring my pawns forward and keep them on dark square. So I'm just 2 pawns down at the moment, although that's probably enough for my opponent to win here. But if I can get my knight in over closer to his king, maybe that would be good. If I play knight e3,
Check.
he plays rook e1 and pins the knight. Plays there. Okay, goes in behind. I'd still like to play knight e3. How can I get there? Or knight d4. Going after this c-pawn. Looks like a pawn I might be able to get hold of. So from this square, I could get to it from here. It comes from here, I guess. Okay, well, that exchanges off a pawn. Don't have to worry about that one anymore. Where do I want to go? Should probably try and get in front of that pawn in case it starts advancing. Like that.
Check.
Okay, so knight here. Let me control the square in front of the. Let me control the square in front of that pawn. Knight here hitting the bishop. Ah, he's got my king cut off. That's good. Good play. Stops this pawn from advancing, but the other one can advance. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, my knight is running out of squares to go to. Yeah, there's a fork here. Maybe I can take advantage of that. Yeah, so that hits my knight, but I still have a little fork here. So maybe I get one of the pawns back.
Check.
Maybe I can turn this into a draw. Although, probably not. Not with how I've been playing. Okay, well, that's probably a good sign. Aha, he's going to go there. So he gave that pawn away without trading rooks. And my king is a bit cut off, but look at that. Let's hold on a second. I should defend this pawn, right? And try and get my king closer to the action. I see. He's saying I can't actually defend it. I can attack his pawn.
Check.
Okay, if I take, he takes, my king comes forward, pawn comes forward, king goes here, pawn goes here, king goes here, pawn goes here, here, his king goes forward. Yeah, so he can queen that pawn. That's too bad. Okay, so I should harass the pawn. So my king is out of play. I guess
Check.
He's going to win this endgame, unless he misplays it. He should have moved his king over here, his rook. He should have moved his rook to cut my king off. Now he's got the idea. Oh, but right there, I could have taken the pawn. Oh my, that's horrible. Oh, to get so close to drawing and then give my chance away. Let's see if he knows how to win this. Okay, let's see. If I bring my rook over here, the problem is my king's not in front of the pawn, so I can't really do that trick with the third rank defense. Now I can get my king in front of the pawn. Okay, so now I should check from the side. Or should I? What is the deal here? Let's see, his king is sheltered from checks. I think I should place this on the side and try and check his king back. Now that I managed to get my king in front of the pawn. Because his king
Check.
can't go forward. Yeah, and
Check.
this is a draw.
Check.
Because I get my king in front of the pawn here. Wow, what an escape. Okay. Very good hyperbolic, but you can offer a draw anytime. Or we can play this till we repeat moves. Always remember to drop straight back. And when you can go directly to the square in front of the pawn, go there. Otherwise, go in front of the king. Always go there when you can. Always drop straight back. Always go in front of the king. Pretty simple formula. Well, in the postmortem, I'll show how...
Draw offered.
There you go. I'll show how he could have won.
Game drawn.
Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.